Welcome back to FastGadgets. Just a quick video. Wanted to talk to you about Linux in the news for October 7th, 2016. And I do apologize, I'm not in my usual shooting location. Just waiting for my wife to get out of work, and I had a little time, and I thought I would talk to you about some really interesting updates in the Linux universe that are pretty exciting. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you guys about the news, I haven't done one in a while, and there's quite a lot going on that I thought was worth talking about. Now, normally I don't like to talk too much about Windows, but I found this story really interesting. Now, we all know that it is possible to have bash in the command line in Windows, which is really nice. I personally don't have a use for it, but I have heard from some of my viewers, and they have said, you know what, this is something that's really good if you're doing development. So I could actually see that. But the command line isn't everything, because now, according to itsfoss.com, they say that Arch Linux, the entire distribution, may soon be available on the Windows subsystem for Linux. So, Canonical did it with Ubuntu's command line, but apparently we're talking about an entire distro, and I'm not sure how well this is going to work exactly, but I really think that is interesting. Of course, the Unity shell is running on Windows. Pablo Gonzalez is a programmer, goes by the name of Guerrera24 on GitHub, put together a package that would run, and it's running on Windows. So, I still think that if you want a Linux distribution, you might as well go straight to the package itself and install it natively. But it's pretty clever that you can run Linux, and I'm seeing where we'll probably get to the point where we have virtual application support instead of just virtual systems and machines, and we can actually run parts of a Linux distribution in Windows. But Windows and Microsoft will have to keep up that subsystem. If they don't see a benefit from it, and they're seeing Linux users developing and creating these packages available for it, and they don't get a piece of the pie, I don't think Microsoft will really be that happy about it. Other news, KDE celebrating its 20th anniversary, and it has released KDE Plasma 5.8 LTS long-term support. And I thought that was really interesting. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I'm a KDE user. The main purpose for me to use KDE is because it supports Kden Live, which is the editor I use pretty much exclusively. And this is an article that's off of Softpedia. They're saying that long-term support for 5.8 will go on through 2018, and there's going to be several new features in it. I really haven't seen yet a list of those features, so I'll have to check into that and get back with you. But very interesting. So, the talk about KDE kind of fading out and dying apparently is not very accurate. They still are trying to maintain the relevancy with this new release, so that's pretty exciting. I use KDE Plasma, so I would really like to see the new version now with Fedora. Typically, you will not see it for the current release. All these newer major revisions, you will have to wait until the next major release of Fedora. You will see minor updates and security updates for the current release, but usually the major updates you will not see. And in other news, well, it looks like for some reason certain new Lenovo machines are running their SSDs locked in a RAID mode that you cannot change in the BIOS, and apparently AHCI was removed from the BIOS. So basically what that means is there isn't going to be a way to run Linux on that system. It can only run Windows. So, Lenovo came out officially and said, look, we don't intentionally do this to block customers from using other operating systems. We're doing it to increase performance and capabilities of the Windows operating system that it ships with. So Yeah. Well, apparently some of the models were the Yoga 900S and the IdeaPad 710S. So be careful when you're out there buying newer Lenovos. Check into things. I was actually looking at the Yoga 900, so I did not know that. Now, specifically, it's the 900S, and I can't remember which model I was looking at. So that's a little bit of a concern because it wouldn't support Linux. And right now, the Yoga 2 Pro that I have, IdeaPad, supports, of course, Linux natively, which is totally awesome. So we're going to have to be careful, Linux users. Also, GNOME 3.22 desktop has been released. So again, with Fedora, we probably will not see that. I will run a check and see which version of GNOME I'm using, but I'm pretty sure I'm still on 3.20. Now, this would be considered more of a minor release, so it's very possible it's going to show up in Fedora 24. So you can do a check with that with a simple command. You can use the RPM command, or you can use DNF list and get an idea of which GNOME version you're on. But apparently they've got a couple of new features. One, the desktop environment's been changed a little bit. They include batch rename functionality now, which will be really nice, and direct integration for compressed files in the Nautilus File Manager, which I honestly thought they already had, so I guess it's a distribution thing. Apparently Fedora already does it, so I've seen direct support for compressed files already, so even in Nautilus, so not something I was missing. The GNOME Music app has been updated and supports music libraries with thousands of tracks. I have a pretty big music library, so I haven't really tested it. I use other tools. I've never used the GNOME Music tool personally. There are better ones out there in my personal opinion, but again, I haven't used it, so I can't really say it's not that good. The GNOME apps has been updated and offers support for retro gaming consoles, as well as Flatpak integration, photo sharing, revamped GNOME software app, which it needed. It was it actually was pretty good, but it needed to be better. And that GNOME software app also supports firmware updates now. So very interesting. And there's a brand new GNOME Control Center. So at some point I will try to showcase that. I'll see if I can get that for Fedora 24. I mean, I could load it directly anyway, and if I have to, I could do source code, but I do prefer to get it straight from the distro because then you know it's fully supported and it's designed to work with what our needs are. So that's Linux in the news. Just a quick video touching base with you. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, drop me a line, let me know what you think, and I'll see you in a future video.